I've been in business for 40 years, and you learn a lot more from your failures than you do from your successes. And it's easy to be successful. It's hard to come back when things fall apart, but that's where you learn. That's where you learn the most.
Welcome, affiliated listeners, to another special in-person episode of the Affiliated Podcast. And today, we're not joined just by one guest, but two. So you're in a double pack of awesome. And today, we're going to be talking about something that I think is critical. If you're an offer owner, you have to listen. And if you're an affiliate, this might be the best opportunity that you are going to have to make 2026 not only your best year, but something that is going to carry on for many, many years to come. So with that, I know it's a big tease, but I want to introduce our guest today because we're going to be talking about the power of offer ownership and how to make it simple and how to make it easy, but most importantly, how to make it effective. And we are joined by the longest running platinum client in clickbank history, John Rowley, as well as his partner. Oh my gosh, I just had a brain fart. Why did I just have a brain fart? Lori Ellis. Geez, I almost said Kim. I don't know where that came from. So Lori Ellis, and they're going to be talking about also an offer owner, some really amazing stuff. But before we jump into that, first, how are you guys doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having us in, Kyle.
Yeah,
how
really.
are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good.
So it's really good. Really excited because John here is already immersed in Idaho as he has a bracelet, fully into it. And obviously, Lori, you're from Spokane, so you're kind of familiar with the area.
Correct.
And where's home base for you right now?
South Dakota, actually.
South Dakota. Wow, South Dakota.
But I've lived here before.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yes.
so you're familiar with Boise.
I am
so
very
that's
familiar with
awesome.
Boise,
That's
yes.
great. Well, hopefully John gets it. This is your first time or second time?
No, I've been here before.
Very cool. So hopefully you get a lot of good stuff. You get to see some things while you're here, but we're really excited to talk to you. So before we go into it, I just want to get a little bit of a background for both of you, just in terms of your experience for the people that know. Now, John, this is your second time on the podcast. So those that you have listened, they might have already known, but those that haven't, tell us a little bit about kind of how you've been the longest standing platinum offer owner on ClickBank.
Well, I've been in business for a long time. So I started off as an athlete, had a bad car accident. Through a series of events, ended up becoming the youngest senior vice president in Manhattan history. I worked for Harry and Leona Helmsley. Moved to North Carolina, did real estate for a little bit, and decided I wanted to. Also, while I was up in New York, I also owned the gym where the movie Pumping Iron was filmed. With
man.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno. And owned another company up there as well. Then moved to North Carolina, opened up a painting company, grew it into probably the largest in the country of its kind. And we were on the cover of a magazine for that and all. And at that time, I decided I wanted to become an author. So I wrote 2 books, became a best-selling author, was speaking all over the world, and I had the painting company at the same time. And then in 2008, the economy crashed.
Yeah.
So my painting company ended up being very, very deep in debt. It was a very challenging time for that. And then at the same time, all my speaking events, I was booked up for quite a while, regularly booked up. All of those canceled overnight. Everything dried up. So we had a 4-year period of time where there was not much going on. During that time, I knew God couldn't bless my steps if I wasn't walking, so I took a position with Powerhouse Gym. They're friends of mine, running their magazine. So I ran the Powerhouse Gym magazine, and then I did the same thing with Iron Man magazine, bringing in new writers and all. Through a series of events during that period of time, I met John Benson and Mike Erie. Mike Erie, I got introduced to Mike to write an article, and then he asked me what I was up to. So I told him I'm working on this thing called Old School New Body, a sales page. I don't even know what a sales page is. And he tells me, he goes, you got to get on ClickBank. So him and I became friends, and we kept cooking, and I didn't know who he was at the time. And then John Benson calls me up. He wanted advice for speaking on stage. I think it was Bill Phillips who introduced him to me. And he was getting ready to speak at an event and called me up. And him and I ended up speaking for about a week. And at the end of that week, he was just asking me advice. That he's a good speaker, so he really didn't need my advice. But we became friends. And I gave him, at the end of the week, he goes, well, what are you working on? And I told him the same thing. I said, I'm working on this thing called the sales page for Old School New Body. But I have no idea what a sales page is. He goes, send it to me. This was on a Friday. On a Monday, I get an email, and it's the sales copy for Old School New Body. So I email him back. I said, who are you, and when can we get on the call? He calls me back. He goes, you don't know who I am? I said, no. He goes, you've been helping me for a week? Why? I said, well, we became friends. And he goes, but you're struggling right now. I said, yeah, but that's not your problem. That's my problem. I said, no, we're friends. That's what friends do. Friends help each other. And he goes, well, I happen to be speaking at Glacier Kennedy, which is one of the biggest marketing events of the year.
Yeah.
He goes, some might say that I'm the best copywriter in history. And he goes, I'm the creator of the video sales letter, the VSL. And he goes, and the copy is yours. And I was like, no. I said, copy's ours. I said, you're my partner in this. I said, I'm
Nice.
not taking it for free. So my point of that whole thing is God just blessed it. So from that day, like when I met John and Mike, I met them within a couple days of each other. 18 months later, ClickBank closed their doors for the first time in history and had John Rowley Day. And they brought us in, brought my whole staff and my family in, and honored us here. So it was quite a wild ride. So Old School New Body, from that day forward, it did $5 million in the first 90 days and converted it 18% for well over 10 years, and it's still in the top 10 today.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go back to something. I think what's so interesting about your journey, obviously just tons of success, right? But not without its challenges. And
There's always valleys.
Yes, exactly.
Mountaintops are fun. The valleys is where the growth is.
Exactly. Well, I want to talk more about it because I think a lot of people are probably feeling very similar to the way you did post 2008, right? We've seen, we saw like, you know, the COVID bump, that wonderful time where it just felt like you'd throw money on the walls and it would spit more back. And you'd be like, wow, this is really cool. And now we get through this valley, this period where a lot of other extenuating circumstances in the economy, there's actually a lot of parallels from 2008 to what we're experiencing now. Not exactly, but there's a lot of similarities.
Yes,
so
there are.
There's people that are probably feeling stuck or scared or lots of things. So actually very curious, when you were in that moment in 08, you felt like prior to that 07, you're on top of the world. You're on magazines, you're on stages. You had to have a level of invincibility. You felt like Arnold in Pumping Iron. Like you were just Mr. Universe.
Oh, yeah.
So walk me through kind of that feeling when things were falling. Like what was going on in your head? How did that feel?
Well, I was at an event in South Africa. I was speaking for Amway, and I did 20 talks in 10 days. So I was very busy, and then I get a call.
Well, how do you do 2 talks in a day? You're just like
You're exhausted 24/7, and they were big crowds. It wasn't 500 people; it was thousands, tens of thousands. Yeah, so no, they were big events, and it was a crazy time. And I get a call, and basically, you're out of business. The whole economy crashed. This particular, we customized in the $1 million and up custom home mark, and like commercial, Dick's Sporting Goods, hospitals, Sam's Clubs, things like that. Basically, you're this much in debt, and there were a lot of zeros behind it, and you need to go bankrupt. And I wouldn't do it, so I don't go bankrupt. So I came home, and for 4 years, every day, I wanted to go bankrupt, but I knew my kids were watching.
Yeah.
And my older grandkids, I knew they were watching, so I couldn't do it. But every day I wanted to go bankrupt because my phone wouldn't stop ringing. I owed everybody money. Everybody that I paid my vendors, I paid my employees. I didn't leave anybody, but I owed the IRS money. And I tried negotiating with them. Nothing. They wouldn't talk to me. Like nothing.
Yeah.
And so my thought that you don't give up. So what can I do? My whole thought was my kids are watching. And God can't bless my steps if I'm not walking. Where am I going to walk? What's my best path? So I did the thing with Iron Man magazine. I did the thing with Powerhouse Gym, knowing that it wasn't going to turn into anything. I had no idea what it was going to turn into.
Yeah.
But I did have faith that it would turn into something.
Yeah.
And so my main thing is I don't give up. I was crushed in a car accident in 1979. They told me I'd never live. When I lived, they told me I'd never walk. And when I walked, they told me I'd walk with a limp my whole life. When I didn't walk with a limp my whole life, they stopped telling me. Because they don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Because my resume does not determine what's in my heart. And if there's a failure in front of me, I know who I am. I step up. I do what I've got to do. And the thing is, and this is one of the things I want to teach in the program, I teach strategies, not tactics. Tactics change every day. A good traffic today is Facebook. Well, tomorrow it might not be a great tactic. And that happened 7 or 8 years ago, where it was a great tactic, and then all of a sudden, people will lose $1 million a day. But if you have strategies, then you can adapt to the tactics. Michael Jordan, he always said he could be creative on the court because he practiced the basics all the time. If you know the basics, then you could be Michael Jordan with the tactics.
Yeah.
But if you don't know the basics, if you don't know the strategies, the tactics aren't going to matter. You're going to be out of business. You're going to find yourself making $1 million a day one day and losing $2 million an hour when your next ad doesn't work. So you need to know the strategies. And most of these affiliates out there, they're tossed to the wind. They have no idea what to do. I started in business in the late 1970s. And I started off in the late 1970s studying under Jay Abraham. Today, Jay Abraham's one of my closest friends, and he's going to be helping out on this platform. When I went into Manhattan real estate in the late 80s, in my late 20s, Barbara Corcoran became one of my closest friends, and she's still a close friend. I don't see her that very much. We're both busy. but she's still a close friend. And she even wanted to partner with me. She wanted to partner with a 28-year-old kid. And she told me one time, she goes, because I asked her, why do you want to partner with me? And because I was a janitor before. I didn't have a college degree or anything. And she goes, because you're a lion walking down Madison Avenue eating all the dinosaurs. So what we bring to the table is, and kind of answering your question as well, what we're bringing to the table with this is 40 years worth of not just knowledge, but connections.
Yeah.
You know, I've got everybody in this industry wants to help with this. You know, John Benson is custom creating a portion of Benson AI where you're going to be able to click 7 buttons and literally have your first ad created, your full sales page done, or VSL, whichever you choose to go with, every upsell page, and your book. Click 7 buttons, and in 10 minutes it is all done. All you have to do is then go in and edit it. And then what we're going to do is in this program, we're making this available to them. And then in this program, we're going to go in, and then we're going to bring in the top copywriters to show them how to edit the copy. So one month we'll pull somebody out, and we'll have David Deutsch helping edit the copy. Another day we'll have Chris Haddad. Another day it'll be John Benson, and John Benson is going to be coming on a regular basis and training as well.
Well, man, you're building my teas and just smashing all with all this great stuff, John. That's amazing.
I know, but
though.
I probably over-answered.
Yeah, no, it's great. I loved it. I love it. So we're going to circle back to that because that was obviously amazing stuff. But I'm going to pull you back a little bit more because I think what you said before was super inspiring. I think it's really, really magical. That perseverance. You said no one's going to tell me what I can't do.
Yeah, that's key.
Yeah, and you said you were in there, you were facing down the gun and experiencing what felt like the easy exit. Maybe if I just stop. Maybe if I just do something wrong, right? Now, you mentioned that your kids were really the inspiration and you really knew that your kids and your faith mattered so much to keep you online. I know I'm going to pull back a little bit, and then I actually want to talk to Lori, too, about kind of her experience as well in the off-runners, and we're going to circle back to the amazing dimes and gems you were dropping. But I'm just like, where did that start for you, that fire? You mentioned the car accident, but like, that couldn't have been the moment. There was something before that led you to have this drive. I'm just wondering, like, were you a kid? Like, when did you notice you kind of had this, I'm never going to give up. I know what I could do, and it doesn't matter what people tell me. I'm just going to go do it attitude. Where did that come from?
When I was a kid. I grew up in a tough neighborhood. I grew up kind of like in a mafia neighborhood. I don't know if you know Michael Francis, but he's well known today on the internet. He was a mob guy who walked away. He was one of my neighbors.
Oh, wow.
So I grew up in a tough environment. My home life wasn't a whole lot better. It was worse. And I would go to school, and the nuns would beat me. And then they would smack the end of my fingernails and try to make me cry because I wouldn't cry for them. The other kids would cry before they get hit. So I was probably about 7 or 8 years old, and I determined I'm not going to let anybody break me. And then in 1973, I was asked, I didn't see any value in my life either, because the way I was growing up, I saw my father working very, very hard. And then I saw some of the neighbors, they worked very, very hard, but like, what were they doing? Like, you know, what's going on in this, you know?
Well, you're in a mob neighborhood. Some of the hard work gets a little bit.
They were all very nice people.
Yeah.
But, you know, at home. But I'm sure when they were gone, it was a different story. So in 1973, I was asked to run in a track meet. I was there to watch my friends, and I didn't want to run. And I was wearing work boots, tight jeans, and a shirt.
Seems like you're track ready.
I wasn't there to run. I was just throwing a lacrosse ball around. I wanted to watch these kids run. And the track coach knew that I was lost and knew that I was desperately looking for an escape from my neighborhood. And he asked me to run, and I didn't want to. He finally talked me into it. So I go out there, and it's a dirt track, and I'm wearing work boots. And I asked him, I said, what, and we run the 440 quarter mile. Yeah. And I said, what am I supposed to do? He goes, when you get to the sewer cap over there, he goes, take off. It was halfway around the track. I'm like, okay. So I start running. They were going painfully slow, so I got bored, and I stopped, and everybody's yelling, take off, take off, take off. I can walk and beat these guys. So I caught up to the guy in first. And I'm all excited because I'm waiting for the track race. I'm waiting for the track meet to start at the sewer cap. I had no idea it already started. And we get to and I'm like, this is really cool. I'm going to take off when we get to the sewer cap. This would be fun. I'd have never done this before. And I take off. I cross the finish line, and everybody comes over. They're yelling at me. What did you do? What did you do? And I'm looking at my track coach. I said, it's not my fault. I'm wearing work boots because it was all dust. Yeah. And he goes, no, look where everybody is. And everybody else is coming out of the turn. I beat everybody about 80 yards. I broke a record that day in work boots. Went on to win the States, next one. And then what happened with that, and I think this will answer your question. I'm pretty windy today. I had confidence at that point. So regardless of what anybody threw at me, I knew I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was invited to go up to Montreal to train with the Olympic team up there, which I did. Came back in 1976, and I was on fire. I worked very, very hard. So I developed, about 1975, I developed an incredible work ethic. I would get up very, very early. I would train early in the morning. Then I would train midday with the team. Then I would train at night, and I trained like that 7 days a week. And then I got a full scholarship to a college in Kansas. I went out there and I trained. And we were training for the 1980 Olympic trials, and then I had a very big car accident. But what I learned through being an athlete and through owning a gym is failure is impossible. I mean, success is impossible without failure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so in life, you know, you're working out in the gym. The goal is failure. You're running. As a runner, the goal is to hit the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is failure. That's when your body can't push anymore when you hit failure. The thing is, people don't bring that into the business world.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do business with people, particularly when I was in high-level real estate in Manhattan, I could always tell who the athletes were and who they weren't. The ones who were athletes could handle they could handle the bumps, they could handle the bruises, they could handle the failures. The ones who just went to Harvard, Wharton, or Yale, and were on the yacht team, they'd start crying when they got hit in the face.
Yeah.
So you can see the difference. So for me, the perseverance comes from learning that failure is always a step moving forward.
Yeah.
And I don't let failure stop me.
I love that.
Might slow me down a little bit,
Yeah.
but doesn't stop me.
It's okay. You just have to hit the sewer cap and you'll take off again.
Exactly.
It's all
Lori's seen me hit a few bumps. We come back, right? That's what we do.
right.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's amazing. I think it's so important because as we're talking about feelings at first here. We're going to get to the strategy and important things that are going to take you over. But at the end of the day, I hope everyone here that might feel like this is tough right now, but remember, good. What a blessing that things are hard
Yes.
because that means you're learning and you get an opportunity to grow. As long as we remember to work and have the confidence, like you said,
Exactly right.
that you're going to get it through it.
And a system.
Yeah, and a system. We'll get to the system. So with that, Lori, it's obviously John, thank you so much. So yeah, Lori, tell us a little about your background and your foray into online business as well. Kind of what led you there.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a mom and a grandma.
Oh.
And that's always my favorite thing.
You look far too young to be a grandma.
Bless
so
your heart.
great work there.
Thank you. Yes, mom and a grandma, very proud of that. And that in and of itself brings a lot of information and lessons and experience, right?
Yes.
My first foray into business was when I was a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I had a career in orthodontics and orthodontic offices. And then I wanted to do something from home. So I actually started working for a jewelry company and like an affiliate and started making jewelry for this jewelry brand. And I decided very quickly that I would rather own the brand and design my own. And, I really enjoyed that part of it.
So what part, real fast, is what made you think, oh no, I really want to be the owner. I don't want to work for somebody else. What was the big
Well, I
decision
enjoyed
for
what I was doing, but I realized that if I designed my own, then I had ownership. I had more choices. I had more opportunities when I owned the business.
I like
so, I started my own
We're
business.
gonna earmark that for later too. I like that. Perfect.
So I started my own business.
That's awesome.
And created it from home and grew it to catalogs and online sales and computers. This was a long time ago. Computers were brand new back in those days.
Yes, as soon as you said catalogs, I was like, oh, catalogs. I remember
Catalogs were
those.
the thing at the time, right?
Yeah.
So I started submitting to catalogs.
Some Gen Z are on here. It's like, what
right.
is
They're
a
like, what's
catalog?
catalog? yeah. And then created a website and started online sales and did like sales to the public, wholesale, things like that. And did that for a long time. And then dealt with an illness myself. And then I decided to close that business and went into learning about how to get myself healthy and well and fit. And that is what got me into wellness and fitness for the last 20 years.
That's amazing.
20 plus years, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, because I think, John, you really did a great job describing. So I find that a lot of entrepreneurs, there's a certain profile. And it seems like a lot of people, you could tell when they were kids, they were going to be entrepreneurs. I'm curious because, for you, you found that, after you said you were obviously a stay-at-home mom, found that a little bit later. But let me ask you, when you were a kid, did you ever think to yourself, or were there signs that you look back now and go, oh, I was always going to be an entrepreneur?
Oh my goodness, what a great question. I guess as always being very creative, I think that would be it when you're creative and you think outside the box. And I think that's always been a part of my life.
Yeah.
Just to think outside the box and always have a vision and always know that, you really can do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
And we're told that. But then when you step into business and you realize I can really create something out of anything and take it wherever I want to take it. So yeah, I guess that was probably it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think I love too, you said that creativity. 'Cause I think a
Yes.
lot of times entrepreneurs don't think of themselves as creative types. I've heard it so many times. Oh, I'm not creative.
Entrepreneurs
Yeah.
are so creative.
The most creative.
Absolutely.
Right? They're,
Absolutely.
even by the fact, if you think artists that we remember the most are the people that say and do things we never thought we could.
That's right.
What is an entrepreneur more than somebody that
Exactly.
says, I could never do that?
That's
and they
right.
say, I can.
That's
Yes.
right.
So I think that's really great. Just like it's happening.
Absolutely.
Not enough
Yeah,
entrepreneurs
yeah.
let themselves realize that there's some of those creative people out there.
Creativity,
Just-
having
yeah.
a vision, and
Yeah.
then just making that vision come to life. I always say, what's imagined, everything that's already created was once just imagined. So have the bravery to imagine it
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then bring it to life.
Beautiful. I love that. So
Yeah.
so right now you went through your health journey. You've been in health and
Got
fitness for
myself
20
healthy,
years.
fit, discovered
Yeah.
the gym, went back to school.
Awesome.
And then fell in love with training.
Mm-hmm.
Created my own core strength training program, and I've been teaching and training that. I've done corporate wellness programs and
Nice.
trained groups, small groups, memberships, and then personal one-on-one training. Yeah.
And so what does the business look like right now?
So I'm still doing memberships, still doing personal training. Yeah, I'm
Fantastic.
just scaling that. Yeah,
That's
creating
great.
the core program and.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and I think especially right now, I think it's a big thing too, just as we talk in general, we have a lot of the GLP-1 stuff. There's always looking for a fast track to whatever. But longevity is so big, right? We see so many things out there, just improving our life the long way we could go. Tends to be these core principles. And funny enough, we'll have to talk later. I think right now, people that are in that space, even as we see with AI, properly positioned will actually be increase in value.
Yes.
And I think the way that we're seeing the market
And
go.
then what we're doing with this is we're both transitioning into this. Both of us feel like we're at a point in our lives where we want to be able to really bring impact to people's lives.
Yeah.
And be able to help them transition to a better life as well.
Yeah.
So both of our businesses, we're kind of merging them and going in this direction. And we're going to be active offer owners on ClickBank, but really focus. This is going to be our main focus, is helping the other affiliates be successful.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a perfect transition then, because I think as we talk about this now, we see not only why you guys have been successful offer owners and entrepreneurs, but more importantly, what that unlocks in your life, right? So we talked a little bit before. There's a lot of people that sometimes they might be offer owners, but they're just not seeing the success that they had before. They had a bump in the road, right? Whether it's a car accident, whether it's an illness, whether it's the economy. Things aren't working the way they were supposed to before. So, and then we also talk about affiliates. There's a lot of affiliates out there that you had mentioned. A perfect example. You were essentially an affiliate. You were working for somebody else, but that means the creative, the control, the inspiration. Your creative mind is limited by somebody else's product. Not too dissimilar to maybe if you're a media buyer or an affiliate, and you're like, man, the offers just aren't converting. The traffic has gotten hard. The trick is no longer working.
And you also don't own the real estate.
And you
I
don't have
wanted
real
the
estate.
equity.
Yeah. You don't have the equity.
Right.
You don't have the asset, right? So when
Right.
times are tough, it's off in the wind. So I think that's always a real challenge. So let's talk a little bit about, I think, what's hard about being an entrepreneur. So I think, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of reasons people maybe struggle or don't even jump into it. So when you guys are building your businesses, whether it's online or in real life, what are some of the big challenges that you see common that people run into that they either make them stop or just make them suffer more than they need to, from your own experience?
Most people don't have a structure. They don't know really they don't really know where to go. They go, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be an affiliate. Now what?
Yeah.
So with this, we're not just putting a program together to help them launch products or offers on ClickBank. What we want to do is we're going to train the entrepreneur. So we're going to work with the entrepreneur on mindset. We're going to work with the entrepreneur on time management, on even their health and fitness. Let's face it, energy is the largest currency we have right now.
Yes.
We want to really train the affiliate. And then what we're going to do is we're also going to train them in the business. Whenever I start a company, I always reverse engineer what I want. Like, what's the end goal? Most people start their company as kind of like they start the company, let's go.
Yeah.
It's like you see papers flying everywhere.
I'm a business owner. What now,
I'm a
right?
business owner. What now? And they're going in 10 different directions trying to make something happen. I actually sit down. The funny thing is, I did this at a presentation for Jeff Moore and Nick Peterson, to a bunch of high-level entrepreneurs. Like, I walked in there, and I knew these guys, like $100 million companies. And I was like, what am I going to teach these guys? They give me a whiteboard and start. And I was like, oh, this is what I wrote out. When I structure a company, I just start out writing out blocks. One block at the top, CEO or founder. Below it, president, director of marketing, director of operations, a CFO.
Yeah.
I just kind of worked my way down to the lowest common denominator, which would be like the lowest entry point for that particular business. And like, in this particular business, maybe customer service. So like in my business, when I bring anybody into this company, and every one of my kids have worked for me as well. I've got 4 children. They all started in customer service because I wanted them to learn the business from the bottom up. I wanted them to know every job in the business. So what I do is I put together the blocks, and I write down everything. But my name is in every one of those when I start the company.
Yeah.
And then what I start doing is I start filling in the box at the bottom. What I want. Okay, I don't want to do customer service anymore because it distracts me. It's customer service. Next person after that for me personally would be somebody to handle finances because that's kind of kryptonite to me. Like I hate dealing with the finances when I'm trying to grow a company. I want to have, it just messes with my creativity. So the next person I bring in is somebody who's going to handle the finances. Then I bring in the next person, and then I bring in the next person, and then and my goal is to work myself out of a job in the first 18 months of opening up a company. Because I learned through my life that when I open a company, once I get through about the first 18 months, if I'm not still in growth mode, then I go back and I mess up what I had already built. So I put systems in place that allow people to do their job. So the systems, I want my companies running on systems, but if they have systems, then they can be creative within those systems.
Yeah.
So I want the creativity, but I want it structured creativity because I'm looking for a certain outcome. I'm looking for a direction that I want them to go.
Yeah.
So
well, it's so amazing as though you talked about. I love that you put your name on all of it, right? Because it naturally allows you to segment where am I strong, where am I weak. So when you're moving and as things are growing, you don't have to make decisions of what you need to do next. It's like, oh, cool, we already know this, we know this. So it just continues to go. And we see it so many times. The amount of times we talk to entrepreneurs are like, you are the biggest problem in your business.
That's exactly right.
You have made you your entire business.
That's
and
right.
They don't even know how to take off certain parts and they feel they have to do everything. I imagine, how many times have you, I'm curious, John, like when you're building your business, how many times have you said to yourself, well, I can't do that because I have to do everything?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and so, but when you build that structure, now you're like, no, I don't have to do everything.
Exactly
I already know
right.
those pieces. That's great.
See, one of the benefits that I have as an entrepreneur and a business person all around is I wasn't a great student. So I wasn't one of these guys who got straight. I was one of the guys who made the guys with the straight A's look smart. So when I walk into a business, I don't look at anything like I know everything. I'm always a student. I'm always learning. I'm always iterating. I'm always looking. In fact, I put together a filing system when I was back in Manhattan real estate, and I found out a couple of years ago that filing system is now used in all the major companies in Manhattan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was put together by a guy who was a janitor. So I'm a student. You know, when I was in Manhattan real estate, I got to know some of the top people. That's how I met Dan Sullivan and Jay Abraham and people like that. But I think it's key to constantly learn, constantly iterate. But if you're not constantly learning, you've got nothing to be able to grow from.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like you're a bad student, John. It sounds like you're a great student, a bored student possibly.
Yeah,
maybe
bored.
they just teach you. Maybe you're like trigonometry seems really boring, but business is super exciting. So just you had to learn from the right people. I mean, I don't know. You've probably seen the movie Good Will Hunting.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
So remember that they talk about these mathematicians, and it's always people that have no concept of math that break everything because and it's a concept of white snow thought, right? Like if children learn things through white snow, they have no bias. So you look at every single situation when you come into it, you're like, well, I don't know what I don't know, so I'm just going to absorb it all.
Yeah,
Same way a child would, right?
Yeah.
Where most adult learning, I always describe as like a library of cluttered books. We can't learn anything without a previous bias that we could connect it to. So new information tends to get rejected or funneled into narrow concepts.
Yeah.
So it's interesting what you just described is you didn't describe product. You said, here's structure and what I need. And it kind of has this different approach because you approach it from white snow, right?
Exactly.
So I would say all entrepreneurs, you're creative, as we were discussing. White snow, your problem. Stop thinking about what you do know. Assume you know nothing.
Exactly.
Just like you're talking about, it's been made you so successful, and just start from there.
And that's what we want to do. We want to teach them how to structure their business, how to structure their offers. But one thing I've watched over the last several years, and in my own company as well, not just others.
Yeah.
Everything is going much slower. So it's taking longer for the copywriters to get your copy. It's taking longer for your designers to get your designs done. It's taking longer to get any metrics back on your digital offers. So you've got somebody out there like, okay, I'm going to pay a copywriter. I'm going to build out a funnel. I'm going to try to get affiliates. I don't even know any affiliates. And it's going to cost me $60,000 to $100,000 before I ever start. Do I want to be in this business? The other option is they go to try to figure it out themselves. They watch a whole bunch of YouTube videos. They think they can rush, they watch Alex Mendoza. They think they can replicate his funnel. They spend a bunch of money getting that done, and they fail. What we're going to do is we're going to show them the structure that works for the the multi-million-dollar people on ClickBank. We're going to show them we're going to show them the structure, but we're also giving them the tools so they can get to market quickly. So every quarter we're going to have something called a 28-day challenge. At the end of 28 days, they're going to have a full funnel done. We're using AI for this, but they're going to have and fully coached. We're going to have 2 calls a week live. They're going to actually have access to Lori and I twice a week, every week, going through these different things. But we're also going to bring on experts, have Q&As. They're not going to be left. They're not going to be left, wondering what to do. But with this AI, we're going to be able to help them get their the hooked mechanism and everything done week 1. By the end of week 2, having their copy done and their book done. Then it's going to go to design. Then it's going to go to ClickBank compliance. At the end of 4 weeks, they're going to have something done. Will it be a #1 hit on ClickBank? I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know what? When they take 6 to 8 months to get something out and drop $100,000 on it, they still don't know.
Yeah.
I had an offer one time. It didn't take 8 months to go to market, but it did take a lot longer than I would have liked. And I dropped $100,000 on it. We launched, and the conversion to my list was great. We did like an 18-19% conversion to my list.
You're like, yes, I got a huge winner, right?
We had a launch, and it was like less than 1%. I had to cancel the launch, and I dropped $100,000. The guy that I was working with on that, great guy, good friend of mine, but he walked away. He didn't help me. So I was left with $100,000, holding a $100,000 offer that did nothing. With this, within 28 days, they're going to know if they have something. If they don't, they got a heat map on their page. They can go back and, okay, do I work on the lead? Do I work on... At least they've got a starting point at the end of 28 days, and we want them to use ClickBank Accelerator so they can... Everything's integrated.
Yeah.
They build their own funnel without having to drop $5 or $10,000 to have somebody design their funnel. They can go to market quickly. They're at market month 2. Then they can start split testing. Is the offer bad? Well, the offer might not be great. But we're also going to have a forum where people, okay, what do you think of this offer before they even go on? Was it the copy that was weak? Well, the copy seems pretty. Was it the lead? Like, what is it? So in month 2, they're going to know where they're at. Versus spending $100,000, 6 to 8 months later, a year later, you go live, nothing works. You still don't know where you're at. And you're back to square one. You got to start split testing. This split testing in month 2.
Yeah.
With not tens of thousands of dollars out of their pocket. ClickBank Accelerator is only, I think, $47 a month.
I should know this. I feel like Dylan should tell me this, but I don't. It's 47. Is that how much Accelerator is? Yeah. Well,
I think that's correct.
Yeah, that
actually.
sounds good.
Yeah.
We're not on the marketing team. We don't sell Accelerator. So
This is a disclaimer. If my pricing was off, please forgive
yes,
me.
yes, exactly. We'll edit it later. We'll use AI and John's voice, and we'll just do whatever the price needs to be. So no, I love that too. Because I think what we're talking. You said some really big things there. Like one, just the time, right? It's interesting because I've heard this synonymous all over the place. You'd think AI would speed things up, but with third parties, it seems like it's slowing things down for whatever reason. And whether it's time to test, time to whatever, it just feels like things are going slower. I think the great thing though is that doesn't matter anymore.
Exactly.
Right? Because with AI, we could get to where we need to go, but the piece that's missing, the piece that you kind of talked about, is you still need the right strategies, the right people, because AI in the hands of somebody that doesn't know what they're doing or chasing a tactic is, it's a monkey on a typewriter, right? It doesn't really do
It's
anything.
like any
in terms
tool
of
you
doing.
need to
it's a
know how to use it
disaster.
correctly.
Yeah, exactly. Got to know.
AI is just like it's like a drill. Carpenter would love a electric drill or a power drill versus a hand drill.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of copywriters out there that are trying to now make it be AI copywriters.
Yeah.
And I've been talking to guys, David Deutsch, John Benson, John Colton, all the top guys, and everybody's saying the same thing. AI is not now anyway, not replace a good copywriter.
Yeah.
But a copywriter that knows how to use AI is going to replace copywriters that don't know how to use AI.
Yes, very
That's
true.
the key.
Yes, for sure. So I don't know about the manual drill. That gets some pretty good forearms, I'd think. That looked nice, right? No, so well, perfect. That's really good. So first, before we go on, because I want to talk more about that, and we're going to transition to this and why it's so impactful. But first, Lori, I want to say, so for you, when you're talking to people that might be wanting to jump into entrepreneurship the first time, what are some of the big things you'd want them to know? What's the message you'd want to go?
I think the two things that are toughest as an entrepreneur is the loneliness sometimes.
Yeah.
You're on your own, right? You're in your own business trying to figure everything out yourself. So to have a community, to have the support, the mentorship. As a coach, a trainer, I know that my mentorship to that client is key. to their success, right? So to have the accountability, the encouragement, the support, the mentorship, that's key to an entrepreneur.
For sure.
And then it can be easily confusing and distracting if you don't know where to go. So
Yeah.
being able to distill down all of that confusion into clearer, actionable steps that you can duplicate and just, you know what to do, and you just do those steps and you just keep moving forward. And it makes the clarity, then, it just brings you're just closer to success the more clear you have.
Yeah, clarity allowed speed to action, right? You know what
Right,
direction
yes,
you're going.
100%.
It's hard to jump in the fog, but
That's right. Yeah.
that's great. Oh,
Yeah.
so let's because I think we've talked a lot about the program. So let's start jumping into that. And I actually, one question I have for you guys, and this is a common thing I've heard a lot about info. And AI. So there's a lot of people now that are decreeing, whether it's emails, blah, 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 but the info products are dead, because with AI, you could just ask AI, how do I start a business? And it would tell you everything you need to know, theoretically. So when you hear this type of stuff, people say, oh, why are you selling info when I could just go onto YouTube or AI and it'll tell me everything I need to know? So what's your response when people are saying that, as you're talking about, hey, we have a place where we're going to give you all the info, for people that think that they could get it anywhere?
When I was a motivational speaker, Zig Ziglar was my mentor, and he was a good friend of mine. And he goes, when you're on stage, give 100%. He goes, give all your secrets away. He goes, that's going to make them want to buy your stuff even more. And that's what I've done. Whether I've been on stage, speaking to tens of thousands of people on stage, going on TV, my own YouTube channel. I had a TV show and I had a radio show for quite a while, and
you have a great radio voice, Sean.
Oh, thank you.
You could definitely keep me engaged in some late night jazz for sure. I could see it.
But just going through all of that has been really helpful.
So just giving all the secrets out. So you're thinking it's all secrets.
You give it away.
Yeah.
You give it away. People are going to want to, you go on YouTube, you follow an expert. John Maxwell is a good example of this. If you've read one of John's books, you've read all of his books. It's basically the same information, just recycled.
Yeah.
But you trust the source. So I think going forward, the key is going to be, I was the number one guest on Martha Stewart radio for quite a long time. And Martha had told me one time, she goes, clear is the new clever. And I think we need to start seeing that more in marketing.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. Let's not be so clever. Let's see, we don't need to see. You're merely going to spend $10. Like, come on, let's be clear with people. Let's be honest. Let's start getting the trust of the people back. So yeah, in the future, AI is going to have an impact on a lot of things, but it's not going to be able to replace a personality. It's not going to be able to replace an expert. It's not going to be able to replace an honest source. So when people are in this program, they're not getting on there and getting an AI response. No, they're going to get on camera with Lori and I. And they're going to be able to ask us clear, honest questions. And if we don't have an answer, the beauty of this thing is I've been around for over 40 years in business. And the beautiful thing is if I don't have an answer, neither of us are so ego-driven, and try to give a fake answer. I'm going to say, you know what, I don't know, but I'll be on camera tomorrow with the right answer, and I know who to call. Whether I got to call Jay Abraham, I got to call somebody, I know I can get through to anybody. So I will get the answer. And if I can't get it, Lori will get the answer. And then we'll get the answer back to them. So they've got a resource, but we also want to be a source for people. So we've got vetted experts, So if they need a copywriter, we've got a list of copywriters. They need somebody to do web design or graphics or videos or a media buyer or somebody who's going to be a list manager or an affiliate manager. We've got that. We're also going to put in place, remember years ago we used to have the launch contests?
Yeah.
Well, we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So we're going to start in our community of we're calling it the ClickBank Creators Academy. In our academy, in our community of creators, we're going to start doing launch contests for all the but what we're also going to do is we're going to also have them all help each other split test. And so we're going to create a community of people. That was the one thing I loved about when I first got into this industry. Everybody helped you. Whether it was Joel Marion, Perry Belcher, Mike Geary, John Benson, Rob Polo. It didn't make any difference who it was. Charlie Livingston. They all wanted to come and help you. Today it seems like everybody's so independent. Everybody is so disjointed. We want to create a community of ClickBank creators that are going to not only want to be on the platform, but they're not going to want to leave it.
Yeah.
Because they're doing so well on it, and they don't want to leave their friends that they're doing business with.
Yeah. No, I think so. Kind of what you're hearing too is one, it's the level of expertise obviously is there. It's the full secrets, but more importantly, it's the community and the fact that they're right there. The trust of a real person. Because at the end of the day, I think the best way to think about AI, it's a mirror, right? It's going
Yes.
to tell us what it thinks we want to know.
Yes.
But the best thing about business and community, as you described it, so you don't feel alone, but most importantly, people aren't going to tell you what you want to know. It's what you need to know.
Exactly right.
Right? That's adopted specifically to whatever that is. So if it's a problem that's going on, if you're in a community where you say this, you're not going to get a canned template back or a response. You're going to get a real person giving you real answers that should be much more innovative, and they're on the 10%, the fringes, which no AI could ever do
Exactly
because
right.
it hasn't been done yet, right?
Exactly
And
right.
entrepreneurs are creative. They need support to be
And they're
creative.
individual.
And they're individuals,
and
yeah.
AI can't replace individuality.
It can't.
Right? And so a good example is the core strength training that I do. Well, you can teach core strength. Core strength is core strength.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Ah.
Like a different perspective, a different way of teaching is going to teach certain people that wouldn't appreciate it in another way or connect to it in another way.
Yeah.
So the individuality that I bring in that, so encouraging that individuality in every entrepreneur to share their voice, which might be the same core concept, but it's a different place that they're coming from, and that's going to reach different people.
Yeah.
And that's a different product,
Yeah, for sure.
potentially, right?
Yeah. Well, and it changes the way you could act on it, right?
Absolutely.
I think staring at something that says, "Hey, I could do these things," but then you don't know if it's right or wrong, right? Is this the right direction? Did I get proper feedback? Is it the right
Right.
strategy?
Right.
And guess what? You're never going to get a white snow answer
Right.
from AI because
Exactly.
it is built on bias and context. So I just think it's really important because a lot of people think, I could just get that on AI. Well, you probably could. There's probably information that you guys are going to teach people they could get on AI, but they'll never learn it from you,
Exactly.
and from you, and from the other experts that are going to be in
Yes.
there. That changes things, as well as the support afterwards. So I think we've danced around so much of what this is, we should probably talk about it specifically. So I'll kind of, so John, you and Lori have kind of created this. It's a full kind of 28-day challenge or a course and a community. So it's not just
Yes.
a course, but it's allowing people that, particularly affiliates, if you're like saying, man, I'd like to jump into offer ownership,
Yes.
but I want to do it properly. Or even, I would tell you right now, if you've created offers and you just feel like they haven't worked, you might just not have the right information. So whether you're an aspiring offer owner or an affiliate that wants to have equity in their business and particularly have an asset that you own to make all that traffic really go to another level, how do you do that? How do you distract away? This
Exactly.
gives you that information, but additionally, it gives you the support in the community to make it happen. So tell me a little bit more about the mechanics. So what it's called, what you guys have going on,
Well, over
and
40
how people get involved.
Over 40 years ago, Barbara Corcoran told me, she goes, don't work for anybody else. You always have to own it. So I have been obsessive with that my whole life.
So why did Barbara, what is her belief on why you need to make sure that happens? What's the difference of owning? When
Well,
you're building
because
a thing?
she saw that I wasn't a typical employee. I met her very, very early on in my real estate career, my first week in business, actually. And we could do a story about that another time.
Yeah.
But I got to know her very early on. And then within a couple of weeks of me knowing her, she goes, I want to partner with you. She says, I want to open up a company, because she had a brokerage company, a boutique brokerage company, which she grew into a very large company. But she didn't have a property management division, which is where I started, was in property management. So the goal was to buy a company and do that together. It didn't quite work out. We could never find the right company. And then I ended up moving to North Carolina after a few years. But because I'm a bad employee. I literally worked for my first company for a few months. I went from being a janitor to a property manager on Park Avenue.
Yeah.
My office was on Madison Avenue. And
Real rags to riches, right? We're talking buckets to Park Avenue. That's
I got
crazy.
fired 8 months later because I walked in to offer to buy the company.
Yeah.
And he fired me and had me escorted out under armed guard. And I went across the street and got another position working for another company called Douglas Elliman Gibbons and Ives, and became a senior VP over there. But Barbara's thing was, she just saw that I wasn't a typical employee. We had breakfast every morning for quite a long time.
But with Barbara, the power, like when she says, say, never don't own a piece. So like, what was her theory on why you always need to own on those opportunities?
Because if you don't own something, you've got nothing. You're making somebody else rich. You've got nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
You don't show up for work, you don't get paid. I got sick 6 years ago. I had open heart surgery. I went septic. I had had a couple of years that weren't that great, and but my company didn't stop making money. My company kept bringing money in. And I literally could not work. And my son, he's president of my company. He's doing his best he could with the company, but he's also the one bringing me back and forth to the hospital 100 times.
Yeah.
He was trying to be my caregiver, driving me all around. But the company kept running
Yeah.
because we owned the offer. If I was buying cold traffic, I would have lost everything.
Yeah.
If I was just running somebody else's, basically you're taking all the risk, and the offer owner has all the upside. Why would you want to take that risk and have zero upside?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's a great point. That's why it's sort of important. Like, we're not talking just small. It's not just you guys. This is the most
Exactly.
success. The people we look at as like the pinnacle of business.
Oh, yeah.
It's always own a piece. Ownership changes
Always.
the game. Changes the game for sure. So fantastic. So yeah. So anyway. So ownership piece, creating the offers. Tell me more about the product and everything we have going on. So it's going to teach people how to make their own products, whether they're affiliates or offer owners.
Yes. So
Literally from the beginning, like, what are you interested in?
Yeah. So even
if
down
you
to
don't
what the
even
product's
have
going
a
to
product,
be.
yeah, what are you even interested in? What do you want to do? What's your voice? What's what's important to you? What are your values? What's your vision? Literally starting there. And if they already have one, then I'll let John. take over,
go,
but-
please.
No, I just love that from the beginning, because those steps then allow you to go, okay, this week I do this. I have something done this
Yeah.
week. Next week I do this. Now I can move forward and do this. Now I have this done this week. And the third week I have this done. So it's really actionable. It's like, now I have something completed, which feels great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Gives you more momentum and you're more motivated. And then by the end of that 28 days, you have something to actually launch. So even if you have a product, you have all of the support, education, encouragement steps, everything, the Q&A, all of that John said before. But if you don't even have anything to start with, and you're like, I'd like to try this, then, beginning from the beginning.
Yeah, no, and that's great. And I love that too. It's like, what are you into?
Yeah.
A lot of people build businesses because it's what they think will work.
Again,
and
the
then they hate it.
individuality, really
Yeah.
encouraging people to be
Yeah.
like, what's your vision? What do you
Yeah.
love?
Don't replicate. Let's innovate.
Exactly.
Right? I love
Exactly.
that. Love that.
A few years ago when I got sick, I didn't really feel like I wanted to continue doing fitness offers, and we are going to continue doing that. We've got a tea company as well, and we'll bring in supplements onto ClickBank as well. But I felt like I wanted my life to matter more, and so I started talking to guys. And, I called Ryan Lee up, and it was Armin Moore and Jay Abraham, because they've known me for a long time. And 100% of them said, you want to have an impact in this world. Why don't you start training people on ClickBank? You've had such long success there. You've been so good for the platform. Like, I did the first physical product on ClickBank as well. And you've been good for the platform. Platform's been good to you. You could really bring value to people doing what you do best. And the bottom line is, I've got 40 years of business experience. I've been trained by the best in the world, not just best marketers, but Dan Sullivan, he's my entrepreneurial coach, and others over the years. And I'm at a point now. I just want to. Both of us, we just want to be able to give back to the industry, and not just give back, but elevate the industry. Be able to take younger entrepreneurs and have them hopefully miss some of the bumps and bruises that we've had along the way.
You get new bumps and bruises.
Yeah,
Skip the basic
I wish
ones,
I
right?
had this program back when I started.
Yeah, yeah.
I've written a book. I've been an affiliate for years, and boy, I wish I had this in the beginning.
That's awesome.
It would have just clarified so many things. But really, we think that everybody has a voice. Everybody wants to make an impact in some way, and this is a way for them to discover their genius, their brilliance, and bring that to the world.
Yeah, well, and it seems like one of the big things too is it's competitive out there, right? So there's a lot of
extremely
people
competitive.
trying to do it. So as you say, even when you started 10 years ago starting online business versus doing it today,
Oh, yeah.
it's so much harder. So you need to accelerate learnings because
Yes.
the time to learning
Yes.
has to be faster
Yes.
just to be competitive.
Yes.
So this makes a ton of sense to be able to join this program, get all the information from the biggest experts that are bringing on,
Yes.
share the wisdom with you, but not just that, work with you. I think that's the big distinction here.
The live support.
Yeah, live
Place
support.
to show up. Yeah.
Show up, give you all that experience, and then have a community that's all learning together. So
Absolutely.
kind of walk me through exactly what it is. Because we've always talked beforehand, but I want everyone else to understand as well. So you come in, is it a monthly membership? How do you get started? What does it look like?
So when you sign up, you join. There's two phases of the sign up. So when you sign up, you join the ClickBank Creators Academy for $47 a month. So that is one. But your first payment is going to be $146 because what they get, and we think it's critical that they have this, is they get Benson AI. John Benson had created a custom AI program that does everything from writing your sales copy to writing your VSLs, writing your Facebook ads, even writing your book, coming up with your hooks, your big ideas, your lead hooks, everything.
And if you're like John when he first met John Benson and didn't have any idea who that is, what less reminder you? One of the best copywriters ever and the inventor of the VSL.
Inventor of the VSL.
And got some great guns and shreds some guitar quite well.
He does. He does. And he created Benson AI, and he's put a ton of work into it. I've been involved with Benson AI right from the very beginning. I worked with John on it, and I've got access to behind-the-scenes stuff. And so what John and I spoke about this was I said, John, I don't want these guys having to spend 6 months getting ready to get ready.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose them. And he goes, Lori and I were thinking 90 days. So what do you think about 90 days? He goes, no.
Way too long.
He goes, 28. I said, really, 28 days? He goes, yeah. He goes, because we're going to put together a custom thing with you and Benson AI. They're going to have them fill out this thing called a blueprint, which is what all their marketing material will come out from. They can do that in an hour or two. And then what we're going to do is John now put something together custom just for this group, where you click 7 buttons, and it literally creates your lead offer lead, ad. It creates your first sales page. It creates your upsell sales pages. It even writes your book. So so by the end of week 2,
I'm not just thinking what books I want to just have randomly written.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know what I'm
right.
going to be selling, but there's going to be some funny books, Dylan. I'll send yours your way for sure.
So instead of waiting months to get ready and kind of hoping things get done, at the end of week 2, you're going to have your sales copy written. You're going to have your book written. And we're going to also teach them how to do upsells. If they're doing supplements, we're going to have we're going to have on experts, Tony Grubmeyer, people like that, to teach them how to do that. So another thing we bring to this as well is we have access to everybody. They want to talk about supplements, we bring in Tony Grubmeyer, or even Joel Marion, or Josh Pizzoni, who used to own BioTrust, or Bill Phillips, who owned the EAS. We've got access to everybody as far as that goes.
Yeah.
They want business strategies. Jay Abraham is one of my best friends. Jay will come on and literally answer their questions. They couldn't get Jay's attention for 10 minutes for $100,000. Yeah. But yet they're going to be able to sit on this for $47 a month and do this. So the way it's structured is the academy is $47 a month every month, and you can stay on as long as you want, or you can cancel it whenever you want. With Benson AI, they get a certain amount of words, enough words to be able to. John said they're going to get enough words where they'll be able to do their everything, their sales copy, their upsell sales copy, and the book. So there'll be enough of that. When and if they want to renew that, then it's just a matter of buying more words or joining Benson AI and doing that. But that's separate from the academy. So that's just something that because John Benson's been a partner of mine for 15 years. Yeah. That was something we were able to negotiate out, and quite honestly, it's a big favor for John to do for me, because it's costing him a lot of money to put this together. But he's willing to do it because he loves ClickBank as well. And he'll be on an ongoing basis teaching on this and teaching the AI other stuff. Brad Costanzo, I spoke to 2 days ago. He's now one of the top AI experts out there. He's a close friend of mine as well. Brad will be coming on and teaching on AI tactics as well. So the key is the entry point is we want to get them in for the 28-day challenge, but that's every quarter. Yeah. So we want to give them the tools to get in. Boom, boom, boom. So one day a week we'll be coaching on the 28-day challenge. The other day a week we want to be able to train the entrepreneur themselves, whether it be on their lifestyle. Bringing in a Jay Abraham or other types of experts to do Q&As on their business. So we want to continue to do that. So the 28-day challenge is really just to get them up and going. But then the community aspect is the other calls that we'll be doing, working with them on lifestyle, teaching them how to structure a business. We'll bring in financial planning experts to teach them what to do with their finances, because
big one,
I can't tell you how many affiliates I've seen come in and make millions of dollars thinking it's going to last forever. And when they're done, the Ferrari is gone. The big mansion is gone, and they're back living in a small apartment again.
The journey of bartender to affiliate multimillionaire to bartender again. We see it often.
All the time.
Too often.
All the time. So that's the benefit of this. We don't just want to take them and teach you just how to make money. Yeah. We could do that.
The whole life.
The whole life.
Whole life support, whole life wellness, whole life success.
Yeah. Well, what I really love about the Benson AI side of that too is you're not sitting here saying that this is going to be your end copy. This is no. This is a jump start. We're accelerating your starting point. Normally, you'd have to spend, like you said, 6 months, 9 months, a year to even get like bad copy out. You're like, wow, I just produced bad copy, or I'm going to hire a copywriter and not even know if it's good or bad. This gets you ready. You could have a really great base level of copy, and then you get to start improving and doing better with it. And that's that whole thing where AI copy isn't going to replace anything.
Exactly right.
Right.
But become an AI copywriter,
Well,
right?
It gets even
right.
better. So in this course already, John Benson is giving us one of his copywriting courses.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
they're going to be able to go through John's copywriting course, which wasn't cheap, and they're getting that for free.
That's
so they're going to be
awesome.
able to go through with that. We've also got a copywriting course that David Deutsch and I did. David Deutsch is one of the John Benson and
Legends,
David
yeah.
Deutsch are $2 billion copywriters. David Deutsch and I did a modular course on how to write copy, but how to write honest copy, and how to use honesty as your strongest tool. I think we called it getting real. They get that for free in this.
Nice.
But then what we're also going to do is Lori and I are going to bring in copywriter experts. So every quarter we're going to have a challenge. So we'll bring on a David Deutsch or a Chris Haddad or a John Benson or John Carlton or somebody, Brad Halber, Bond Halber, one of those guys, and take one of the pages. We're going to have thousands of people of this, so we can't do everybody's.
Yeah.
But we'll take one person's copy and have a copy critique. This
Yeah.
is what we look for. And David Deutsch is phenomenal at this. This is what we look for. We look for this, and this is what we do. And just go through the page. So this way they can go through their AI copy and say, okay, David said to make it sound like I'm sitting next to my best friend in a bar. How would it sound?
Yeah.
Well, this AI copy is structured really well, but would I really say that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. So let me just change the words a little bit. Lori's watched me go through this. We're using Benson AI. But then what we do is we go through it. How many times we read through stuff? 100, 200 times? Right?
Least, yes.
We get to the point.
It's
We'll
refined and refined.
be in the middle of doing it, and she'll start talking about something different because I bored her to death with it.
Yeah. But I think that's huge though, because that is something that a lot of people think they could we've seen a degradation in a lot of
Yeah, you
people's
can't
ability
mail it
because
in.
they AI themselves to average.
Exactly
and,
right.
And really, what you're talking about is accelerating to average so you could work your way to exceptional
Exactly right.
That's right.
with all the resources you need. I
Yeah.
think that's really amazing. And one thing I think really love about We've Construct here, we've talked, is there's a lot of gurus out there. There's a lot of people selling
Yeah.
products to make money online, build this, build that,
Yeah,
build whatever.
exactly.
But more often than not, they're either one, haven't had the success. They definitely have not been as successful as you two
Yeah.
for extended periods of time. Or they're teaching you a tactic with no additional support afterwards.
Right,
So that tactic is meant to not work after a certain period of time.
Yeah.
And then you're left holding the bag. And we actually have a lot of people that I've seen and talked with out there, and they're in that position now. They're like, but it did work for a while, and now I don't know what to do. And so this is something you will never have to feel that way
No.
because it's not built on a tactic. Like you said, it's built on the strategies
Yeah.
that as long as so really the question that people that want to join, the real question they have to ask themselves isn't, hey, do I want to go be successful? I think it's more what you said at the beginning. And really what you were talking about, Lori, too, which is I need this for me. Am I the person? Am I truly an entrepreneur? Now, you might be listening to this and think, well, no. But maybe the answer to that question is no. And maybe be an affiliate, be a listener, do something else if that's not for you. But if you're that person that doesn't take no for an answer, you're meant for more. You're probably chronically unhireable because you just see more and you're determined, you're hardworking enough, confident, maybe just a little bit crazy to keep working when everyone else. Well, this is a perfect course for you because you get the same people that think that same way to give you the resources to learn, not just to be average with AI, but be exceptional. Because
Exactly.
AI is going to get you to average, and you guys are going to get them to well beyond.
Yeah.
So 147 and 47. So how do they get access to? Do they just? I'm sure we'll probably have the link below, but when it's live, things like that.
There'll be a link, and
Okay.
We'll figure out. We're still.
What about
talking-
if I wanted to promote it? What if I am an affiliate and I'm like, hey, I want to learn, but I also want to promote it? How is that going to be available?
That'll be
for
great.
people?
Yeah, we'll make that available to the affiliates who do want to promote it. So our whole goal here is, we could charge a lot of money to do this, and especially since it's live. This is not just a bunch of canned.
Yeah, it's a lot of you
videos
guys'
you're going
time,
to
yeah.
watch. And one thing I've learned over I've been in business for 40 years, and you learn a lot more from your failures than you do from your successes. And it's easy to be successful. It's hard to come back when things fall apart, but that's where you learn. That's where you learn the most. So we're going to be in there actively working with these people, bringing in the top experts, and really making sure that they know how to structure their business and do things properly. So we're both really excited.
Yeah.
We're bringing 65 years worth of business experience.
Well, then all the experts that come in too. I mean, you're taking all those failures and learnings and bestowing them. So others could fail differently. Fail differently. Yeah.
Most of these gurus I know, by the way.
Yeah.
I know them very, very well. And most of these gurus made their money being gurus.
Yeah.
They didn't make their money. They didn't make their money doing what they're supposedly gurus on.
Those that do teach, right? Or those that can't do teach.
We've been in the trenches.
Yeah.
We've been in the trenches. I started my journey studying Jay Abrahams and stuff and direct response marketing stuff on a kitchen table in Brooklyn in 1983, and working as a janitor in between shifts. And I've been studying this thing for years. And what I bring to the table is something that no guru can do. 45, 50 years or 40 years of business success.
Yeah.
And there's nobody, I can confidently say there's nobody on this platform or in this business that brings to the table what we do combined.
That's awesome.
Not even close.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm a big fan of it, especially on this podcast. I regularly tell people to avoid marketing books, avoid a lot of the guru stuff, because honestly, we talked about it before, there's a lot of replication when you get stuck in there, not innovation. Right. And what I love about this is you're not talking about repeating the same tactics over and over again. It's not a new book or towards this launch or to this launch. It's, hey, this is my life. This is everything I've learned. I want to bestow on you. Yeah, we're really going to, a bit of the real wisdom on the rock to build something big, and you get everything afterwards to grow. Not just to, here's a book, here's something that I don't even know if it works or not, but I know how to say it pretty. This is all about really getting substance action. I think that's really powerful. And it's what's needed for people right now, because those that continue to remember that they're creative, they're determined, they could work hard, you're going to push through a season. And when you push through these changing seasons, the people that push through always come out in a different strata. You've seen it. Every single valley, when you come back up, you're taller than you were before, in whatever way that needs to look like. It might not be defined in the same way that people want it to, but I've seen it over and over again.
Well, I can say with complete confidence that if a janitor from Brooklyn can make tens of millions of dollars online, a lot of these smart people listening to this definitely can.
That's awesome. Man, that feels like a perfect way to finish it. That's just such a good line. So again, I'm so grateful for both of you guys coming here. And really, that was an amazing conversation, great stories, great information. Most importantly, a really great opportunity for everyone listening. So the name of the course again, it's the
ClickBank Creator Academy.
ClickBank Creator Academy. I almost... obviously it's been so good I can't talk anymore. You made me speechless, you two. So the Crypto Creator Academy, there will be links for that in the show notes below, guys. Definitely check it out and honestly sign up. But I'm going to say this, only sign up if you yourself listen to this and now you could say, I am different. I am that creative entrepreneur. I want a little bit more than affiliate, more than the offer I created now. And I want the expertise to get there faster and be successful. Not just today, not just next year, but in decades to come. And hopefully, who knows, you might be on this show being the next 40 years in business or a platinum for well over a decade. So again, thank you guys so much. Please rate, review, subscribe, do all the things, and be sure to email us with any other show notes you need. But as Thomas would say if he was here, happy scaling, and I'll just say have a good one and be safe out there. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome.